Look, we all know that we want to be involved in real estate and we want to get the life that real estate gives us. And we're willing to work as hard as we can to become that person that is successful. But the question is why do the vast majority of real estate investors fail? Why is it that some investors just seem to do everything right? I mean, they get all the amazing deals, they get the best tenants, everyone loves them, so deals just magically fall out of the sky and right into their laps. Or do they? Now look, over the past 20 years that I've been involved in many different types of real estate transactions, whether it's wholesaling, flipping, owning multifamily, as well as single family, I could tell you the reality of that question. During that time frame, I have seen many successful people start from what I like to call the zero line of not knowing anything about real estate, and over time becoming some of the most well-known, respected, and successful people in the real estate industry. However, like every coin, there are two sides. The same is true in these types of stories. I've also seen a far larger set of people go in the complete opposite direction, and they leave the real estate industry with their tails tucked between their legs with much less money and a shell of who they were when they first started, along with shattered dreams and aspirations of becoming this big, ultra-rich, successful real estate investor come crashing down and shattered around them. I tell you, I have personally been on both ends of this rainbow. And I can tell you the latter is not a fun place to be, both mentally as well as financially. At one point, I had over 40 single family properties that were taking the life out of me. Very simply, they were the wrong properties for me, wrapped around a flawed business model. And to be honest, there was no business model at all. It was actually lack of a business model. I lost a lot of money. I got taken advantage by tenants, real estate agents, contractors, sellers, I mean, you name it. And most importantly, the one thing that will always stick out in my mind was the sleepless nights of not knowing how I'm going to fix this situation that I actually put myself and my family into. I used to wonder what was the reason that this was happening so often to people just like me. Why is it that two people can both start from knowing absolutely nothing in such a wide array of possibilities like real estate and end up on complete opposite ends of the spectrum? Is it a tool set or is it a mindset? Now, if they both started out investing with the same amount of money at the same date, why would some people take a completely different path? I mean, think about it. They both have access to top level information, whether it's paid or it's free, such as Bigger Pockets, YouTube, or maybe some of the local real estate groups, or even on Facebook. Are some people more serious about it? More desperate for money? Is it a certain personality profile over another? These are the questions that I always wanted to know. Well, look, the answer is there is no answer. What's interesting is that when I think back to when I was a child, I was always told that I could do whatever I wanted to do, or I could become whatever I wanted to become. I was told sky's the limit. Then, as an adult, when I said I was going to start investing in real estate, I was told how I would fail along with all the problems of owning rental properties, such as tenants, toilets, turmoil, etc. They went on and on telling me what I shouldn't do, and I used to think to myself, wait, I thought I could do whatever I wanted to be, and I could become whatever I wanted to become. Now, maybe that was just their way of saying how they failed, and they were either trying to give me those words of wisdom, or deep down, they failed and they really didn't want me to succeed where they could not. I'm really not sure which one it was, to be completely honest with you. But I do find it interesting how the difference in success and failure is not normally a tool set issue. To me, it seems to boil down to mindset. I mean, how you think determines your outcome. Your thoughts you let creep into your head from other people, either positive or negative, will determine your view on a subject. That view will determine your outcome and your result. I was always told that if you are the smartest person or the wealthiest person of the 5 most people you spend time with, you may want to think about changing your group of people. Now, the reason I bring this up is that your mental mindset is what will ultimately determine your success or failure, not only with your investing, but in all facets of your life. Now, regarding why most real estate investors fail is that they view owning a rental property not as a business, but more of a hobby. Now, the fact that most people do not do the work that's needed prior to purchasing a property to set and establish clearly defined goals, as well as thought out strategy so that they can actually achieve those specific goals and clearly defining the financial numbers needed, along with having a business plan that is needed to successfully run that business. Now understand, the definition of a business is a commercial profitable enterprise that runs without you. If you cannot leave your business and come back after a set amount of time and have it continue to run without you, well, you didn't have a business, you had a job. This is a big difference and definitely requires a huge mindset shift as to how you're gonna run your business. If a business is to be successful, it's gotta have an end goal and a final destination. Then there must be a strategy so that you can meet that goal. Think of a destination like going to Disneyland. This is the goal. The way that you get to Disneyland, meaning the freeways, is the strategy to get us to that goal. And if you were to take the wrong freeway, you may not ever reach your destination. Well, if you buy the wrong investment properties, you're never gonna reach your goals either. And that's a hard thing for people to understand. Now you have to remember that whether you own one property or you own 50 properties, it's still a business. There are policies, there's procedures, and most importantly, you gotta have structure. You have laws that have to be abided by and numerous government agencies that make sure that you do in fact abide by them. And if you fail to plan and not follow the rules, regulations, and laws that are governed by the agencies, the chances of your success are not in your favor. Understand, the biggest challenge with landlords is that all of these governing agencies look at you as a business. For example, the IRS, fair housing, local and state property code, federal laws protecting tenants, all expect you as the landlord to be running your rental property as a business. Unfortunately, the one person who doesn't understand that they're running a business is the actual landlord. This is why 1 out of 3 landlords are in some form of lawsuit or litigation every single year, and they are the highest sued in real estate. Now, when I've asked investors after they've had some type of disaster story like a bad tenant vacate or trashing their properties, if they could go back and pinpoint where they went wrong, it will normally lead back to the fact that they did not do a proper background check of the tenant. They didn't have policy in place around the tenant selection process, and they also did not enforce the rules of the lease agreement. So therefore, when you think about it, in reality, they were not really running their business correctly, and that's how it ended up happening to them. Most newer investors buy a rental property and think they'll figure it out as they go. Well, to me, that's the same logic as saying, I think I'm gonna pull a tooth on my own today, and if it doesn't work, maybe then I'll hire a dentist to do it the next time. Look, as entrepreneurs, the one thing is that we are definitely not afraid of hard work, and we are certainly not afraid to figure out things on our own. The challenge is when you own a rental property, you have a living, breathing person or persons in your property, and you are legally obligated to make sure that you are providing a safe and secure living environment for them. Now look, I've heard that fear will cause us to not take action. Sometimes overanalyzing will cause delay of action, coined as analysis paralysis. I would suggest that the lack of clarity can be a bigger reason for lack of action, and ultimately it will cause your failure. Remember that owning a rental property is purely a mathematical equation and nothing else. There should not be any emotions to owning a rental property. Now, I know it's easier said than done, I get it. And the biggest challenge that we have when owning a rental property is that we live in a house or maybe something similar to that. So it's hard to think of something that we would live in as a non-emotional object and purely numbers. When you move out of your home and it now becomes a rental property, you have to have the ability to learn that you need to shut off the emotional side and turn on the business, pragmatic, mathematical side. It's the only way that you are going to succeed in this business. Part of understanding that process is understanding the power of leverage of other people and team by protecting your time. There is nowhere that I have ever read from a successful person in real estate, or really in any business for that matter, that the only way that they became successful is by doing it all themselves. I've always said that if you make enough lowball offers out there, you're gonna get a deal that matches the numbers that you want it to be. However, the key for you to be successful as an investor is how you get that return month after month, year after year, to produce the revenue and cash flow that was promised by those numbers that you put out on the spreadsheet when you were analyzing the deal. See, the key to success in real estate is understanding that you don't need to know everything that you need to have, just the people in place to do these things. It's not a matter of you doing everything right all the time and having all the right answers. It's really a matter of having a team doing consistent work that keeps you within the confines of the law, and it also keeps your business running with processes, procedures, and structure. Think of your rental property as any other business and make decisions based purely on numbers and never on emotions. Always trust but verify everything in your business, and always make sure that your decisions are taking you closer to your goal and not further away. If you like this video, please make sure to like it, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment below, and check out the links of other similar videos that I have. I'm Steve Rozenberg. Thank you for watching.